The card really isn't actually bent. It's actually a moisture problem. So, there you have it, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. I am Ted from Ted's Basement, and today we are going to be reviewing the process that I use to fix the curling on these cards that were heavily curled. I will do my best to show a video, maybe like up in this corner here, of how curled these used to be. Okay. And they are not 100%, you could see they're not 100% straight, but man, are they like way better than what they were. And potentially the longer I keep them in here, the straighter they would get. I'll throw a link below to this unit here or something similar in my Amazon affiliate link. This is just a simple Tupperware. There's nothing special going on here, other than the fact that it's like wide. It's like big enough that you could fit a desking bag or something like this unit here. So basically what's happening, the reason why this works, the reason why it actually pulls these cards straight again, is because it's pulling the moisture out of the air. And the trick is to have it sealed, airtight, or as close to airtight as possible, sealed inside some kind of vessel that is near airtight, which would be like the Tupperware I just threw over that way. And so then what happens is this is like sort of a desiccant system. It's a mini dehumidifier, but it's basically the contents of a desiccant bag in there. Those are those little like pellet type things. And they're sucking moisture out of the air. And so what they're doing is they're making the air inside that vessel, that Tupperware or whatever, they're making that air in there really, really dry. And when they make it dry, they're pulling the moisture out of the backs of these cards through the back. And the reason that's important is because that's actually the whole problem. That's the reason why these cards got curled in the first place, is because they are foiled. And the foiling, the hollowing on the front, means that moisture cannot pass through the foiling as easily as it could pass through the back. The back is more of like a raw cardboard, okay? And so when you have more moisture able to pass through the back than through the front, you get this widening of the back, because it's taking on moisture. So it's expanding ever so slightly, but it is. And so then what happens is, the card basically does one of these things like that, because the front is actually smaller in surface area than the rear of the card, than the back of the card, once the rear has taken on moisture. So if you can suck all that moisture out, you can get your cards straight or very, very close to straight. So what we're going to do is, again, I'll throw over in the corner here a video of these identical cards, these actual cards, when I pulled them out of their sleeves, and they were so pringled, so curled. And I'm trying to get it to where it's like flat. Okay, here. So what we're going to do is like a little comparison. So here's what they look like today after having the moisture sucked out of them by a desiccant bag or a unit like this. That's what they look like today. And then over here will be what they used to look like when I pulled them out. So this thing really, really, it does the job without having to sit there and try to push and bend your cards. You can't really do that. You're never going to get it straight that way, because the problem is not, the card really isn't actually bent. It's actually a moisture problem. So there you have it, everybody. That's how I do it. Again, I'll throw some links below to this unit or something equivalent, something similar. What's nice about this, look, you could plug it into the wall and it'll warm up, it'll heat up, and you come back like however many hours later, a day later, whatever the unit tells you to do, and it'll be all dried out, fresh and ready to go, and you could reuse it. And you could see here, there's an indicator of how wet the beads are inside. And so right now they're really not that wet. They're between the blue dry and the purple. But I've seen this thing come out pink like this, and that means this whole thing it's done. It's saturated. It's not going to be able to suck the moisture out of the air anymore. And so you go flip this thing out, go plug it into your wall, and it'll cook itself basically and re-dry everything out. You'll look at it, like a few hours or a day later or whatever, it'll be full blue again, not pink anymore. And you can go ahead and use it however you want to use it. One thing I've noticed, it's hot, when you pull it out of the wall. So you want to make sure that you don't just go putting this with your cards like hot. So what I did, and there's maybe some other ways to do this, but I found my the vessel I wanted to use, the Tupperware or whatever, and I put this in there by itself for like a half hour, an hour, and let it cool down in there. The reason I did that and didn't just like leave it on the desk and cool down is because if you leave it on the desk and cool down, it's sucking in all the moisture from the room. It's going to turn pink, it'll be wet, and you can't use it again. Get it into like a Ziploc bag or a Tupperware or something, let it cool down. Then you put the cards inside. Now the way I did it, you might have been able to see at the beginning of the video, I kind of had them leaning up like this. I wanted to leave some airspace to get all around the card. Like, don't just take your stack and put it in like that right next to it. I mean, you can, but like I think you're better off letting the air get around it. So as best you can, maybe do something like that, or have them, like I said, lift it up on there or whatever. And this whole thing, you got to do this at your own risk. You got to be careful, because if somebody picks up that Tupperware and moves it around too fast, I mean, you've got cards in there with this big heavy plastic thing. Like, you don't want your stuff getting all dented up and scratched up and everything. So I put it in a place where it would not be touched or moved for the period that I wanted to keep it in there. And like I said, it was in there for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. So that is my solution for fixing pringled cards and bringing them back as close as possible to the original state that they were meant to be in. I hope this helped you guys out. And if it did, please make sure to like the video, subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this. And if you're looking to help and support the channel, one of the best ways you can do that is to become a patron. I've got links to join my Patreon at tedsbasement.com. There are also links to join my Discord community. You can hang out with all the other basement dwellers and myself and chat between videos, and it's kind of a fun place to just kind of like hang out and chill. There are links to that Discord at tedsbasement.com as well. Thank you again, everybody, for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.